Arrests of some 700 people, including 7 out of 9 presidential candidates, the beatings of a number of people, torture of some of those who were held in detention, is something for which the European Union and the United States cannot tolerate. And so I think it's been critically important that the West has responded in a forceful way, although I would argue not forcefully enough, in imposing sanctions, including a visa ban and asset freeze against officials who are guilty for these kinds of abuses. And I have also pushed for the imposition of economic sanctions against state-owned enterprises, because I think this is the most effective way of punishing Lukashenko and forcing him to, at a minimum, release those who are held in jail for political reasons. In November of 2007, after there was still no progress in the release of political prisoners, the United States went ahead and imposed sanctions against Belneftekhim. 2 months later, an official from Lukashenko's regime came to the US Embassy and asked, in Minsk, and asked what would the United States do if Lukashenko were to release the political prisoners. And the embassy came back to Washington, asked for guidance on this, and we sent a response overnight saying we would ease the sanctions if he released the political prisoners. Within 36 hours, the political prisoners started being released. The economic sanctions worked. They worked much more effectively than the visa ban and the asset freeze. And they worked, let's be clear, to free political prisoners. They didn't work in bringing about freedom and democracy to Belarus. But they were designed to win the release of people who were in jail. And it's my firm belief that getting people out of jail is a critically important thing. More needs to be done, including more sanctions, and there have not been enough sanctions against state-owned enterprises. Remember that, 70 to 80% of Belarus's economy is in state hands. So we're talking about a situation where sanctions are being imposed that will hurt the regime, hopefully not the average Belarusian, but at a certain point that may happen too. That is an unfortunate consequence, and I don't mean to minimize it. But if you want to get Lukashenko's attention, the way to do it, I would strongly argue, is through economic sanctions. I regret that the United States and the European Union did not impose sanctions against Beltransgas. Had it done so, it is possible that the Russians would not have purchased the remaining 50% of Beltransgas as it apparently did 10 days ago. This, I think, was a very unfortunate and negative development. And it suggests that Lukashenko is desperately selling out Belarus's assets in the interest of staying in power.